Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.
Aloha, and welcome to a special edition of HIKI NŌ, the nation's first statewide student news network. I'm Shisa Kahaunaele, a recent HIKI NŌ graduate from Kamehameha Schools Kapalama, here to present some of the most outstanding stories from the spring 2014 quarter. Having worked on HIKI NŌ stories myself, I know firsthand how challenging it can be to produce a news feature that meets PBS Hawaii's stringent HIKI NŌ standards. But when your story finally comes together, when it finally works and is approved for air, it gives you a tremendous feeling of accomplishment. The students who worked on the stories compiled in this episode all experienced that sense of accomplishment, as did their teachers. And rightfully so, because with these stories, they really hit it out of the park. Our first example is a sensitive look at a different way of treating the mentally ill. In this story, students from Chiefess Kamakahelei Middle School on Kauai explore the healing bond between patient and staff at a unique mental illness treatment center in their community.
Mental illness in the USA is more common than one might think. About 26% of all Americans have some form of a mental illness. Oftentimes, when someone thinks about mental illness, they think of someone who is mentally unstable and may lash out violently.
I wanted to just read one fact. The widely held belief that mental illness leads to increased risk of violent behavior is a damaging stereotype. The vast majority of individuals with psychiatric disabilities do not commit violent acts.
Fortunately, for people with mental illness, there's a place where positive change can happen.
Friendship House is a clubhouse for people with mental illness to come to get help with their lives, whether it's making friends, going back to work, finding a place to live. Friendship House does all those things for people who from all walks of life here on Kauai.
Basically, you know, the Friendship House, the clubhouse model is a place where members come, and we don't call our guys patients, we call them members. So there's not the doctor-patient relationship, we're colleagues, and that's very empowering.
Friendship House is one of over 350 clubhouse programs in 33 different countries. So we're making a world of difference all around the world.
The Friendship House is a global effort to try and get members back into their normal routines.
It's our job to help make sure that they get the opportunities that anybody else in life has, whether they want to go to school or go to work or any other opportunity to enhance their well-being in their life.
They set me up with various employers around the island which I need to get in contact with.
But as a result of this close work, the staff's lives are also largely changed.
I remember having to do a presentation in front of Kauai United Way, and Laura could tell I was really, really nervous, and she pulled me on the side and she goes, "Okay, Iris, just breathe," So she got me through that. So it's a pretty much give and take relationship here.
Because of this type of interaction, members form an unexpected yet life-changing bond with the staff.
I called HMSA and they asked Iris who she was, and she says, "I am a friend." They didn't think of her as a case manager, but they knew I had a friend in my corner. Actually, I think she's an angel sometimes,
Here at Friendship House, it's really about the relationships that members and staff tend to form.
Although the main goal of the Friendship House is to help its members get back into society, the bonds between the members and staff have made a world of difference in each other's lives. From Chiefess Kamakahelei Middle School, this has been Brandon Marcos for HIKI NŌ.
Our next featured story is outstanding for many reasons, not the least of which is the fact its creators wisely resisted the temptation to exploit their subject's physical disability to tug on the audience's heartstrings. The result is an honest, matter-of-fact profile of an amazing young man by his fellow students at Damien Memorial School in Honolulu.
Here in Hawaii, many of us play the ukulele, starting as keiki and improving as we grow older. Here at Damien Memorial School, we have one special ukulele player, Nick Acosta. What makes Nick special? Nick was born with half an arm. While he was in his mother's womb, the umbilical cord had wrapped around his arm, preventing it from developing.
My parents' reaction to this was, they was shocked that I was born this way, but they took me under their wing and just guided me through my whole life.
For me, the challenge was dealing with it. You know, other people, criticizing or teasing, and for me not knowing what to do about it.
Nick has turned his struggle into motivation, telling himself to keep going and never give up. Throughout Nick's life, his family and friends have always been there for him.
Anyone would be, if you put your mind to something, like for Nick, once he puts his mind to something, he'll, pursue it.
Nick possesses an amazing talent of playing the ukulele. He has a strong work ethic that he follows to improve his skills every day. With a single arm, Nick Acosta has won many awards playing the ukulele.
Playing the ukulele makes me happy because it just pushes everything aside, makes me forget about the hate and pain.
Other than playing the ukulele, Nick has participated in various sports while growing up, such as football, paddling, and soccer. He's competitive, respectful, and hardworking. Nick trains and plays hard, showing that he doesn't need to be treated differently. Not only is Nick a phenomenal ukulele player and athlete, he is also a well-maintained student with a GPA of 3.2. Most of all, he is a wonderful friend to his fellow Damien classmates.
We're really close. We have this joking around kind of relationship. We just mess with each other, have fun, and we're always there for each other whenever we need it.
With the support of his family and friends, he has managed to pursue his goals and let nothing stop him. He constantly finds solutions to the many obstacles that he faces. What Nick Acosta's story teaches us is that no matter how hard life could be, you can reach your goals as long as you set your mind to it. This is Casey Kimoto from Damien Memorial School for HIKI NŌ.
Although it happened only 7 years ago, it's difficult for me to remember my transition from elementary to middle school. Maybe it was so traumatic that I blocked it out. This next story by students from Aliamanu Middle School in the Salt Lake District of Oahu brings it all back for me and reminds us how daunting these life transitions can be.
The season of spring often reminds us that change is just around the corner. Flowers bud, trees bloom, and birds migrate. In schools across Hawaii, students are also going through changes of their own. In elementary school, students are getting ready to take the next big step in life, middle school. At Aliamanu Elementary, the 6th graders are preparing for their transition over to Aliamanu Middle.
When I first get into middle school, I think everything's gonna be different. I'll be older, things will be new. We'll have to start doing different classes and not stay in one place at once. So it'll probably be a little bit harder than it is now.
I've heard that middle school is tough, very tough. I expect a new chapter in life since middle school has a lot of classes. Then elementary school, this one doesn't have any classes at all. You have to know when to go, you have to memorize everything. Elementary school is actually pretty hard too, so I'm expecting a lot in middle school.
Some students have fears of being teased, bullied, or not fitting in when they enter middle school.
I'm scared of tall people making fun of my size. I just fear that some kids will be mean to me of how short or tall I am.
I am pretty afraid of going to middle school because I feel like everything is going to change between remembering which classes to go to on which days and how to navigate around the school.
The students aren't going it alone though. At each school level, teachers, counselors, and registrars are there for support. They make sure there are certain procedures in place to make the transitions go smoothly.
I'm kind of the person that helps coordinate and get different people involved to help all our new students that come in from our feeder schools. Some of the sixth graders ask about, which classes are they going to take. The things that they're worried about is they may try to sign up for 12 classes, or they try to pick up one class and think they're only going to take that.
These incoming students may feel overwhelmed. However, some middle schools, such as Aliamanu Middle, ease the anxiety by scheduling the first day of school for 7th grade only.
That first day, they meet with their teachers and they take a tour of the school on that first day. And then the second day, then we have 8th graders, so we have both grades. But that makes it really nice for them to not be so intimidated by 8th graders, should we say.
Change is always an intimidating thing, especially if you're leaving the secure surroundings of elementary school. But one thing is for certain, we all have to grow up and move on with our lives. From Aliamanu Middle School, I'm Chelsea Javier for HIKI NŌ.
Our next story offers a rare glimpse into the world of the artist as business person. Sometimes the business model influences the art. Sometimes it's the other way around. Here, students from Mid-Pacific Institute on Oahu deftly show that sometimes it can work both ways. It's all about finding the right audience for your creations.
I discovered early on as a young boy that I love to paint. I love to draw. And so that was sort of like my way to lose myself into my own little world.
Wayne Gabailo is a self-taught street artist who performs in Waikiki. Art in motion, as he calls it, incorporates music, dancing, and audience participation to keep the crowd entertained. A key feature of his style is that it looks like a chaotic mess of flying paint, ripped up newspaper, and bottle caps. It looks like something any child could do, until the final product is revealed. Wayne and his brother started out in entertainment as a juggling act, but as a painter, he got his idea for a show while observing a bartender, flipping bottles while making drinks.
Then right there the light bulb went up. Oh, maybe I should do a show while I'm painting.
Wayne began performing in Kalakaua Avenue in Waikiki, but it wasn't a smooth journey. Ironically, it was his success at attracting a crowd that led him to almost stop painting and start looking for another line of work.
Eventually, the crowds would get bigger and bigger and bigger. That affected me because the police would shut down my show. I had to have a bodyguard watch so the crowd wouldn't get too big. And then eventually I did get a citation from the police. That caused me to stop painting on Waikiki.
A chance meeting with the chef from Tanaka of Tokyo took him to King's Village. The chef offered Wayne a job because he thought Wayne's juggling ability made him a good candidate to become a teppanyaki chef. But Wayne saw another opportunity to paint.
An idea came in my head. But this looks like a nice place to paint. I wonder if I talk to the management, they'll let me do my show here.
Wayne was able to convince management to give him a shot at performing at King's Village.
So they said, well, we can try you out for 1 week. And that's all I needed, a chance.
That 1 week turned into months, then years. Today, Wayne has been at King's Village for the past 12 years and even has a gallery there. Wayne Gabailo believes that art can be anything that you have a passion for. Through his art, he hopes to inspire others to find their passions. This is Daniel Kam from Mid-Pacific Institute for HIKI NŌ.
HIKI NŌ offers its journalists the opportunity to dig deep and explore the human aspects of a story. In the case of students at HP Baldwin High School on Maui, what started out as a story about a local family-run business turned into an intimate study of a father-son relationship.
From the friendly feel of the service to the delicious pastries they sell,
the Four Sisters Bakery on Vineyard Street in Wailuku has had a lasting impact on the Maui community.
The business was started by my father, Stanley McBall, in 1983. Construction was slow. He got laid off, and so he started baking at his house. And from there it took off.
After being established in 1983, the family business was bought by Arnold McBall in 2003, one of the 12 children from the original owner. Arnold is also the father of Noah McBall, a freshman at Baldwin High School.
The bakery has changed a lot from my father since he started. We added more things to it. My father had more of a Filipino pastries products. So when my wife and I took over the business, we added some other stuff.
Expanding the business also meant that sacrifices had to be made by the members of the McBall family.
The greatest thing owning a business is that you're on your own time. You're on your own boss. The downfall to that is having my own family. I don't get time to spend as much as I want to. You have to be there most of the time. And most of the time meaning when your kids have activities, sometimes you can attend those. So sacrifice a lot. And sometimes kids don't understand.
It's really hard because he works over like 100 hours a week. So I rarely get to see him like on a regular basis as a normal kid would. Like whenever I have big events or like activities, it's normally like you see all the other kids with like their moms and dads, whole family where I'm there, and like it's only most of the time just my mom. And then seeing everybody with like a complete family and me with just my mom there and my dad having to work a lot, just like saddening.
Despite the strain the business has placed on him and his family, Noah retains a strong sense of ownership when it comes to the Four Sisters Bakery.
If nobody stepped in to take the initiative to run the bakery, I probably would step in because for one thing, it's a really huge part of not only my life, but also like my whole family. Like it's kind of what helped develop our family on Maui. So it's kind of like the bakery really upholds our well-being.
Even though Arnold has had to make tough sacrifices within his family, they understand that with great success also comes great sacrifice. This is Emily McKeon from HP Baldwin High School for HIKI NŌ.
Another powerful tool HIKI NŌ provides young journalists is the ability to present a very localized, geographically confined story to the entire state via the HIKI NŌ TV broadcast and the entire world via the web. The following story by students at Maui High School tells the tale of a raging controversy that is confined to the Valley Isle, the last sugar-producing island in the state.
Harvesting supervisor Omosa Ofaya believes that burning sugarcane is what keeps the Valley Isle both green and employed.
The trucks are moving. We gotta keep up with the meal. Gotta feed the meal with sugarcane.
But for Maui Tomorrow, a nonprofit foundation dedicated to helping preserve Maui's natural and cultural resources, the smoke associated with the burning is a cause for concern.
Because we have a growing population with housing developments much closer to the areas adjacent to cane fields.
For the past 132 years, HCNS has been growing, burning, and harvesting sugarcane on Maui. Its historic Pu'unene mill is currently producing up to 200,000 tons of raw sugar annually. To maintain high yields, the leaves of the cane and the wax from the stalk need to be removed prior to processing.
Well, we burn off all the leaves. It minimizes the rubbish from the green cane. That's what is good for us. So it's like we're producing more sugar from burning cane than green cane.
The smoke from the burn entering into residential areas is what Maui Tomorrow's Irene Bowie believes is the reason for the increasing amount of respiratory problems during the March to November burn season.
We know that Maui County has a higher incidence of of asthma in children and adults than every other island except the Big Island. And I think, you know, the island of Hawaii certainly has more VOG issues.
To minimize the impact of smoke and ashes on Maui residents, HCNS works with meteorologists to schedule their burn times around rain, VOG, and wind forecasts.
It's all about minimizing the impact of smoke on the urban areas. That's the whole purpose of our weather forecast.
However, Bowie believes these forecasts are not always accurate.
A lot of times what happens is the smoke plume goes up in the air and it hits an inversion layer and collapses and really impacts the community.
As an alternative, Maui Tomorrow and HCNS are investigating the use of a green harvester around residential areas to replace burning.
We want to see agriculture continue on Maui. We want the HCNS employees to retain their jobs, and we think a good alternative is exploring green harvesting of the cane.
Australia, where the green harvester was built, harvests about 30% of its annual cane without burning, but the design of the machine has proven useless and dangerous around Maui's rocky, uneven terrain.
The use of mechanical harvesters in rocky fields is just not possible because the chopping blades would be, and the cutting blades and the base of the machine would be severely damaged by rocks. It's very dangerous to use such machines on sloping sites because the machines can tip over.
Until a more permanent alternative for burning is developed, Bowie feels that
the community coming together and dialoguing on this is just what we need. It's kind of been something that has created a division in the community, and I don't think it needs to be that.
Whether we continue with conventional burning or commit to an alternative, what Maui Tomorrow and HCNS know for certain is that this is an opportunity for us to see that we all just want the best for the Valley Isle. This is Sydney Green from Maui High School for HIKI NŌ.
You would think that life-threatening illnesses are the last thing on the minds of young journalists on the threshold of adulthood. But the following story by students at Kapolei High School on Oahu shows that Hawaii's young people can delve into this topic with maturity, clarity, and sensitivity.
This is awesome. I love it. This is the first time there's so many more people than the past few years. I love it.
Every year, Kapolei hosts the cancer awareness event Relay for Life. The event itself is a fundraiser as well as a chance for people whose lives have been touched by cancer to gather, reminisce, and to celebrate.
It's like everybody's all one here, yeah, because they have something in common. It's either someone you know passed or someone's going through it, right? In 2010, in September, my husband passed away. He had liver cancer. 5 days before his funeral, I found out I had breast cancer. And, you know, we've been coming here ever since, every year, just hoping they find a cure and nobody goes through what I had to go through.
This year, Relay for Life was especially important to one member of Kapolei High School. Brittany Manley, a 9th grade English teacher at Kapolei, talks about how cancer has affected her life.
About a little over a year ago, my husband, Chemo Manley, got diagnosed with a glioblastoma brain tumor. And so ultimately we heard about it through the school and we wanted to attend just in terms of supporting people who are battling cancer and know people battling cancer.
Chemo was given 12 to 15 months to live by doctors back in January of 2013, 15 months ago. He attributes his stabilization to a healthy, holistic lifestyle and a positive outlook.
If my husband has taught me anything, it's just to stay positive and focus on all the good things in life despite the challenges he faces. So a lot of times when I'm like grumbling about like petty things, you know, for him to just like always have that smile on his face and surround himself around positive people and a supportive group of people, I think it really takes people going through something like this a long way. Just never taking each day for granted. It sounds cliche, but it's definitely true.
While this event itself provides an opportunity to remember those who have lost their battle to cancer, it's also a chance to reflect on their accomplishments, to celebrate those who still live on, and advocate for a cure through hope. For Kapolei High School and HIKI NŌ, I'm James Domingo.
I hope you've enjoyed watching these amazing standout stories from the 2014 spring quarter of HIKI NŌ as much as I've enjoyed sharing them with you. They're proof positive that Hawaii's young journalists have the talent, will, and intelligence to show us the world through their eyes. And these were just a few of the more than 500 stories produced for HIKI NŌ to date. Tune in next week for more proof that Hawaii students HIKI NŌ can do.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.